What's going on, guys? It's Vargonaman here, and welcome to another Overwatch League video. So we have news for the first time in a while. I know there's been some news that I've missed. I'm gonna try and catch up on that, but I want to cover the newest news that came out regarding the Vancouver Titans of all teams. They ended up finalizing their team and picking up two more players that I'm very familiar with, being a fan of EU Contenders, so we're gonna get right into this. And they've actually picked up a DPS player and a flex support player. They picked up Psycho, who hails from Falcon Esports EU, and as you know, or as you may not know, the Falcon Esports dominated 2021 EU Contenders, only losing I think one title to British Hurricane, which this other player hails from, so that's interesting as well. But yeah, they all the way through 2021 Contenders, Falcon Esports essentially dominated the EU Contenders. He's most known for playing Doomfist, Mei, Pharah, and Echo, so very much a flex DPS player. And actually really excited for this Vancouver Titans team. They've put together an interesting team. It's not a budget team. It's very much a team that they're looking to contend with. And it's kind of scary for me as, as a London Spitfire fan who kind of has an okay team, but easily it could go off the rails. So we're going to go over the Vancouver Titans team very briefly, and then we'll go over the British Hurricane player that they've signed. So we've got Aspire, Shockwave, False, Massa, Aztec, and Psycho. So they got 3 DPS players, 3 supports, and 1 tank. It's a very interesting team composition. I'm wondering if they'll sign another tank, because I believe False is only known for being an off tank, or he's only known for one specific type of tank. So it could be interesting to see. Yeah, he's very much an off tank player, Diva Sigma Zarya. So it'd be interesting to see if they pick up another tank, or if they're gonna rely on False to pick up the main tank as well, because obviously, as you know, Overwatch 2 is being played for Season 5, so it's gonna be 5v5. We'll have to wait and see. There are plenty of different main tanks that they could pick up. I mean, if they want to keep going down this EU Contenders route, they could easily pick up Health, because as you know, the British Hurricane have disbanded, so Halv is obviously looking for a team, and he could potentially be a good pickup for this Vancouver Titans roster. If they want to keep this very EU-esque team. It's strange. I mean, it's mixed, but like we got 1, 2, 3. Basically, like nearly half of their team are EU, and then they got False is Canadian, Aspire is American, and Aztec is Korean. It's interesting to me. So I think this team is very interesting. I think that they could do a lot of things with this team. Whether or not it's going to be a playoff contending team, we'll have to wait and see. We don't know how any of these teams are actually going to perform when it comes down to the actual season. But it's a very promising team. I will give them that. So quick now moving over, we have Skyripper, who I was really hoping the London Spitfire would sign, but they signed Provide instead. So yeah, there's that. But obviously he's a mixed. He can play main support and he can play flex support. So we got Mercy, Ana, and Zenyatta is what he's known for. Although in his time on the British Hurricane, he has been known to play Baptiste as well. So that's another role that he can cover. I don't know why Liquipedia hasn't really updated that, but that is something that he can play. Obviously, British Hurricane, or at least the 2021 iteration of British Hurricane, not really having the best results. I mean, they won 2 titles. They came 3rd in the what am I trying to say? The Mayhem Summer Autumn Classic. They came 3rd in that. But yeah, they didn't really do that well. That's no discredit to him, obviously, because he is a very good flex support. I was really hoping, like I said, that the British Hurricane, he was actually promoted when the British Hurricane disbanded, but turns out that they just wanted Admiral, and they were happy with Provide. They didn't want to go double flex support, which is interesting to me, because a lot of teams seem to be going down this road of, we're going to get a double flex support because we don't know whether or not that's going to be a meta. And whether or not that's meta, we're yet to see. So it's going to be interesting to see those teams that haven't actually picked up a main support. They're going to have to adapt one of their flex supports into playing main support, and it's a very different set of things that you have to do going from a main support to a flex support, because obviously the flex support is also there to be making plays, whereas the main support is their primary job, unless they're playing Lucid, but their primary job is to make sure that their team has the sustainability throughout a team fight. So trying to switch your mindset from being a playmaker on Ana to being a healer on Mercy, or being a healer, I mean, even Brig to an extent, it's a very different mindset that you've got to have, and you've got to play a lot more reserved in a lot of cases than a flex support might have to be, and you've got to have completely different positioning. So yeah, whether or not teams have to then convert one of their team members, or whether they will, I mean, there's plenty of time. I believe as of this month, they've got their hands on Overwatch 2, so they've got about 3 months to then go on and train these other players into a main support role and a flex support role, but we'll have to wait and see how they do that. So yeah, Vancouver Titans roster it's very interesting to me, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this plays out, because obviously, as you know, they came bottom of West last year, and I mean, second bottom of the league in total, so they need something. Much like the London Spitfire do at the moment, they need something to lift their fans up, and I think these signings can only further that goal, and I think this team can only further that goal. This team is leagues better than what they had last year. It's just whether or not this team can gel together, and I think that's what last year's Vancouver Titans struggled to do so much, is that they just didn't mesh together. So with the right coaching team and if they gel, I think this team could get on very well together and do a lot of good things. I think they've got a lot of good core players on this team. I mean, Masa was a grand finalist last year. I mean, Psycho and Skyripper have come off good seasons in Contenders. Shockwave went to the playoffs with the Fusion. Aspire was an explosive playmaker on the Toronto Defiant last year. Aztec was quiet, but he was a decent player on Defiant last year. So they've got a good team, and I believe False was supposed to come into the league last year, and something went wrong where he's been picked up from another Contenders team. So there is only good things that could come from this team. So we'll have to see how this team plays out. And now, moving over, we actually have some Philadelphia Fusion news as well. This is the first time they've actually said anything about this new team they're forming, and they did actually confirm as well that they're going to be staying in Asia for the upcoming season. So they're going to be signing a completely Korean roster, I'm gonna guess. So they actually went ahead and picked up Fury, who recently left the Washington Justice, stating that he wanted to be closer to home, and this gets him closer to home. Fury, obviously just coming off of a season with the Washington Justice, having a middling season, but Fury is a good player at his core. I mean, he came off 2 good seasons with the London Spitfire. He won Stage 1 with the London Spitfire. He ended up winning the whole playoffs with London. I believe he played in that game. He had some good seasons. Obviously, not so well in season 2. They made the playoffs, but they went out to the Shock 4-0. And then he had a good showing on the Fusion in 2020 as well. I mean, they didn't win many accolades, but they made a ton of finals. Second place, and fourth. So yeah, he has been on good rosters. I mean, obviously this result with the Washington Justice wasn't the greatest, but the Justice just were struggling last year, so I can't really blame that on him. He is a very good mixed tank. He mostly plays off tanks, but he can dabble in Wrecking Ball if and when needed. And finally, this next one is quite big. They actually ended up bringing back Aim God. Now, Aim God hasn't played in the Overwatch League since he retired last year. After coming third with the Washington Justice in the North American playoffs. So He's then been in Contenders Korea, grinding up with Team CC this entire year. They've had some good results, coming first in the NIST Esports tournament in spring, and then coming fifth in the Contenders Korea Season 2, after coming third in Season 1. So he's had some good results since leaving the league, and I believe this is quite a big player that people are excited to return. He obviously is known for his playing Zenyatta, Ana, and Moira, very much a flex support. Stepping into some big shoes, obviously, with Alarm, rest in peace, Alarm. And we're gonna have to see how he plays. And I'm excited to see how he plays, but like I said, it's big shoes to be filling in after Alarm so tragically passing away. So I have faith that he'll do a decent job, and we'll have to wait and see. This is a very good team that they are building. So quickly, like I did with the Titans, we'll go over the Fusions roster. We have Carpe, obviously the team captain. MN3, which is a DPS that they promoted, I believe, from their academy team, same with Zest. We got Fury, and then we got Aim God. So we got 3 semi experienced players and then 2 rookies. I think they still need to sign another and main support, and I believe their team will be done unless they want to sign another tank. But Fury can really cover the main tank position. But yeah, I think either another flex support, or another main support, or a main support, and this will be a solid roster. So we'll have to wait and see what comes out from the Fusion camp for going forward. But yeah, that was just a quick news update on 2 teams that have just made signings. Almost basically finalized their roster. I mean, there was a tweet the league put out saying that every single team have signed a minimum of 5 before the January 3rd deadline. It's now down to the teams if and when they want to announce these players. So we still got at least one more player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, they have a team technically, but they need another support since they got 3 DPS. But yeah, that is their 5. But they realistically they want to be having another main support or another support, because obviously it's 2-1-2 instead of 2-2-2. So yeah, interesting team from the Fusion. We'll have to wait and see what comes out from this team going forward. Obviously, a completely rework for the team, only really keeping Carpe. I mean, they're only really keeping Carpe from last season. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.